Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Mighty Matt Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by a legend in the Southern California disabled community and the man behind the Triumph Foundation, Andrew Skinner. Welcome, Andrew. How are you?
Hey, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Matt.
No, I'm delighted you could take a little time with us. Overcoming life's obstacles requires great strength. So when did you become mighty?
Well, I'd like to think I was born this way, being mighty. I have a spinal cord injury, and so I sustained my injury when I was 24 years old and broke my neck in a snowboarding accident
Wow.
and found myself as a recovering quadriplegic. My whole
Wow.
life radically changed. So
Now,
that definitely tested the true character.
absolutely. Now, after the accident, do you remember what the first really frustrating thing was for you to accomplish?
Well, when I first got hurt, man, I couldn't move anything. So, I mean,
Yeah,
everything was frustrating. Obviously the uncertainty, doctors would not give me an answer. And I
yeah,
appreciate it now, but back then it was, everybody's tell me what my outcome's going to be.
yeah.
All they could say was you got hurt pretty severely and time will tell. Now I pass the same words of wisdom on to other people as we just don't know how your recovery is going to go. But thankfully, I was able to get some return of function back that I, according to the textbooks, was not supposed to get. And
That's
there's
great.
been lots and lots of triumphs, both large and small, things that people take for granted, from being able to scratch my own face and
Sure,
feed myself and ultimately learn how to regain my independence.
sure. Now, obviously, those times are tough. Who did you turn to for support beyond the medical staff and the help there? Friends, family, I know your wife was with you during that time, right?
Yeah, so I mean, first, I was very lucky that I had a loving family, and
Right.
not everybody has that. And so I was very blessed to have a mom and a dad that were there for me and to be a shoulder to cry on and pray for me and ultimately be a punching bag sometimes because I would go through different stages of grieving and mourning, and part of that's anger, just mad
Sure.
at the world. Then, yeah, my girlfriend at the time, Kirsten, um, was there and she's stuck it out with me. Now I'm proud to say that we've been married for 18 years, something like that.
That's
So
great.
uh
Congratulations.
very fortunate that she didn't run away, and I tried to push her away, to be honest, Matt. I said,
Sure.
I ruined my life. I don't want to ruin yours too. And she was steadfast in that she loved me for who I was and not that I could walk really good.
That's great. And strength required on both your parts. So, congratulations on keeping that relationship going. Now, this is what I'm really fascinated by. So, generally, for someone to overcome something like a disability is difficult enough. And so, you get your life back together. But I think what is remarkable about you is you did not want to pull the ladder up. You wanted to help people up that ladder. And can you tell me about your decision to start the Triumph Foundation?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for me, after I got hurt, I was lost in a world that I never really dreamed I'd become a part of or knew very little about, the world of disability. And
Sure,
obviously is something that presented lots of challenges, but it also, in a lot of ways, made me a better man and better human being. And
sure,
started to realize those silver linings in some of the dark clouds. Obviously, no one wants to have a mobility challenge, but when I did, I saw things in a different light and a new perspective, and really just recognize that every breath is a gift and relationships are true treasure in life. And like I mentioned, I was very fortunate that I had a wonderful support network, friends that I hadn't seen in years that came to visit me. And I also
yeah,
had friends that didn't, that I thought I was really close with, that moved on in their lives, and that's okay. But
sure,
ultimately, I had a lot of people be introduced to me that I absolutely value and wouldn't trade for anything. A lot of people that had sustained an injury like me, or others
yep,
that have other diagnoses, and they're, just amazing people, and I'm grateful to have them. And I also recognize that, there's going to be more people like me. And so probably
sure,
about 4 or 5 years after my injury, after I had kind of gotten to a good place in my life, I wanted to help others. And so I started to engage in some of the support programs that were available at that time. And it just saw that there were a lot of unmet needs.
sure.
that come home and say, "Why don't they have programs to help people with
Yeah.
this, and why don't they have programs like that, and the system's so lousy." And finally, my family got tired of hearing me complain. I said, "Andrew, why don't you do something about it?" And
Sure.
so that was kind of the genesis of Triumph, and I never dreamed it was gonna be anything more than something I would do when I had time, certainly not a job or
Sure.
something that would be long lasting. It was just, let's try to fill some of these gaps, and kinda started a hurricane of care in Southern California and trying to help other people, across the nation.
That's great. I know that you've got a group of ambassadors, but can you describe how you engage with a patient that's ready to kind of go from rehab to building their life together?
Yeah, so the cornerstone of Triumph is really visiting people in their hospital rooms after they have an accident or illness or disorder that, leaves them with a mobility challenge or dealing with paralysis. So, similar people like me,
Sure.
my spinal cord injury, and we bring resources. So, we bring a backpack that's full of information I wish someone would have told me about, and we try to meet people where they're at. And so, we're visiting hospitals from Santa Barbara and the Central Coast down to San Diego, out into the Inland Empire, and all
Sure.
the way to the beach. And that's really the heart of what we do. And just, those initial connections. Obviously, the doctors and therapists want to help, but there's nothing like meeting somebody else who's gone through it too.
Absolutely. I think
And
that
so,
personal connection, providing a real life case study of how you can live your life is the important part of that program. So, how often do you engage with someone throughout their recovery process? Like early on in the hospital or right when they're getting discharged or when?
yeah, good question. I mean, each place is different. So some of the hospitals, we are a regular fixture where we are
Yeah.
visiting every week on a set day, and part of their schedule for rehab is to come to meet Triumph. Usually we don't visit patients very, very soon in their injury journey if they're in the ICU or
Yeah.
subacute, because they're just not ready yet.
Sure.
We usually come into their lives when they are at rehab, when they're learning new skills, and often kind of coming to terms with, this is not going to be something that I'm just going to shake off and recover overnight. So that seems to be the best point. But yeah, to your question, obviously meeting people in the rehab hospital is ideal. We do meet people through community events and support groups and things like that. But yeah, we try to just make that initial touch point and then follow up with them. A lot of people,
Yeah.
just like myself, I needed to focus on me for a while, and I wasn't really
Yeah.
ready to engage for a little while, but we just welcome people. And when they do come back and around, and then, like I said, just keep tabs on them at certain intervals to say, "Hey, how's things going?" And let
Yeah.
them know that we exist.
How do you decide what hospitals to work with or do you just work with them all?
We try to focus around the main epicenters, the hospitals that are specialized in dealing with people with disabilities like this,
Yeah.
people that are, like I said, challenged with paralysis. And there are hospitals that sadly get patients that maybe they are not as prepared for. And so
Yeah.
we will visit anywhere that needs us. But the main hospitals in Southern California that see a large volume population, we're, like I said, kind of on the
Yeah.
regular visitation schedule to meet patients either on a weekly or bi-monthly or uh, what have you.
That's great. Now, we actually met at one of your events, but can you tell me a little bit about some of your most popular programs that you have people come out and get involved?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we have several different programs. In addition to the visitation in the hospital, we run support groups. Yeah, the truth of the
Yeah.
matter is, a lot of people get discharged and they really haven't absorbed all the information. They get a few weeks or maybe a month, sometimes more, but they still have a lot to learn. And so we have just
Sure.
meetups. It's also good just to be social, man. I mean, you came,
Yeah.
you saw, it's just fun to be around like-minded people and learn from each
Sure.
other and share and connect and think of fun things to do together. These meetups are all over, like I said, Southern California. We run like 15 of them, and our partners in a handful more. So those are obviously the most popular because they're most frequent. Most of them meet on
Sure.
a weekly or monthly basis, and they're just gatherings of cool people. And then
That's great.
The other program that large community presence is our sports and adaptive rec program. So
Yeah.
we do all sorts of activities and they're free and anybody can play.
Yeah. And how many members do you have at this point?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer. So we don't have an official membership roster. What
Yep.
I can tell you is we've connected with like 20,000 people over the last, 17 years that we've been around,
Wow,
something
that's
like that.
huge.
And then we have ambassadors. You kind of mentioned it before.
Yep.
So we have Andrew can't do it all, and neither
Yeah,
can Pat.
right.
So we have a team of other people that help carry on the work. And so we have around 80 trained peer mentors that we call
Oh, that's great.
ambassadors that are doing the hospital visits. So we're pretty vast in a lot of ways. And we're also just still pretty small in a lot of ways. Um, this is a passion of my life. And people look at us like we're some big organization, but behind the scenes, it's just a few of us with the heart that are just trying to make it work.
That's great. And that kind of leads me to my next question is, if somebody wants to get involved just financially or volunteer some time, where can they go to get more information?
Yeah, I mean, visit the webpage, our website, triumphfoundation.org. You'll see all sorts of opportunities to get plugged in. We have links for our new injury support. We have link for our grant program and
Yep.
our wheelchair and equipment repurposing program. And then places where you can join us to volunteer or attend some of our support groups and an event calendar. And then obviously a big orange button to donate if there's anybody out there that wants to support a
Sure.
worthwhile cause. Like I said, we're pretty grassroots. You will see your money really make an impact rather than donating to some of these large scale organizations you don't know where the money goes to.
Yeah,
But
that's
that's
right.
just
That's
me. I'm
right.
biased.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I also want to have a little fun with you. A couple of questions I like to ask is, what is the funniest question you've been asked as a disabled person by a random person in public?
Boy, there's so many, man. I mean, I always love what's wrong with you? Um, and
Right.
I say, nothing. What's wrong with you?
There you go.
Right? And then one of our group members was always really quick witted, and he would say something like, you know, do you need some help? And he'd say, yeah, I need $20 or somehow, asking, and it was
That's
all just
right.
in fun.
Yeah, come change my oil.
But yeah, come change
God,
my oil.
that's
I need my
great.
car wash.
Yeah, right. Wash my car. So the what I like to wrap these episodes up with is a question that kind of brings out something interesting in everyone that I've asked it to, which is, if I were to clone you and there were two Andrew Skinners sitting in front of me, what question would I ask to reveal the real Andrew Skinner?
Oh my gosh, man, that's like deep philosophical question. Yeah, I guess what's your motivation? What keeps you motivated?
And what would your answer be?
Well, I mean, look, full disclosure, I'm a Christian man and my faith
Yep.
really motivates me. So I want to give glory to God. And
Yeah,
what I do, it's not about me. It's about feeling like he has a purpose for my life. And I'm just trying to live that out.
that's
So
great. And I think you're doing good service every day with what you're doing. Andrew, I think the world of you. I've met you a little bit. I can't wait to spend more time with you at future Triumph events. But I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone that's benefited from your programs. You're an incredible guy. So thank you so much for taking the time.
it's an honor, Matt. And I'm going to hold you to that. I got to see more of you. Love you,
Yeah,
man.
you got it. And we'll get these people to get out there and donate to Triumph.
We always
All
got
right.
something
Thanks,
fun going
Andrew.
on. Come out and play.
Oh, yeah. I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I hope you'll click like and subscribe so you can beat the mighty.